Welcome to Brandventures, and get ready for an exciting adventure into the world of brand innovation on the Brandventures podcast. Hey guys, welcome to the Brandventures, the show that's going to take you into the world of adventurous brands. I'm your host, Gustavo. It's very important for us to really get more subscribers and add people to our channel so that we can grow, bring more interesting stories, bring really cool entrepreneurs into our show, and therefore entertain you guys. So please hit that button below. Today, we have a very special guest. His name is Jaime Shlinkman. Jaime is the innovative mind driving Pelagion to revolutionize the world of sustainable personal watercraft. Inspired by the nostalgia of his 1973 Kawasaki stand-up jet ski, Jaime set out to create something extraordinary. The result, the HydroBlade. Welcome to the Brandventures, Jaime.
Thank you, Gustavo. Great to be here with you.
Excellent. So tell me a little bit, what is Pelagion?
Yeah, so we started with coming up with the word Pelagion is a derivative of, it might not be as obvious as we wanted, but it's a derivative of pelagic and ion. And pelagic refers to any fish species that lives, in deep water offshore. And ion, of course, is a particle that moves like opposite of an electron in a battery. And so it's a pelagic ion, Pelagion.
What's an example of a pelagic animal?
A mahi. I always say dolphin because in South Florida we call the species mahi a dolphin. Dorado is another word for it. Maybe you're familiar with that, but that is a species that is that lives offshore. A swordfish, a tuna. These are all species of fish that live offshore. They don't hang around the reef. They hang out offshore and they travel.
That's great. Awesome. So what's the inspiration behind the watercraft?
Yeah, the as you said it, the chief inspiration is my 1973 serial number 213 stand-up jet ski, Kawasaki 400 stand-up jet ski. And oh yeah, we can see it in the corner right over here. So I put lots and lots of hours on that jet ski when I was a kid. It was really the creator of that machine was like all on his own. Created something that just to me was like the most fantastic ride ever, and I could ride on it for hours. I saw, it was years later that like Yamaha came out with a wave runner. Actually, I think before the jet ski was there was a sit down like a wave runner, and the sit down watercraft just I never really gelled with it. But standing, you just feel free and open to ride and experience the water. So that jet ski is what inspired it. I really wanted a stand-up jet ski like experience on the water, and e-foils just weren't cutting it for me. And electrifying an actual stand-up jet ski just doesn't really, the math doesn't work out to have the kind of ride time that I want, when I want to go on an adventure, and could not make that work out. I really fought to try and make that work out with just a planing stand-up kind of jet ski, and we're just not there yet with battery technology. So you add foiling to the mix, and you get so much more efficiency with the foiling. It changes the game completely, and it also changes the design completely. So this is what we came up with.
Excellent. So for all those who don't know, foiling is practically a new thing that's invention, which is an anchor like wing that sits in the bottom of the ocean, the bottom of the water, and when you propel it, it actually drives motion forward. Correct?
It flies. So if it a foil is just like a wing in the air, but because of the density of the water, it can fly with a much smaller foil. Like if you were, for an airplane, you need a huge wing, right? But in underwater, that huge wing can shrink down to something very small, and you give it forward motion, and just with a little bit of forward motion, it flies. It provides lift and support. So you put that foil underwater and you move forward, and you're flying basically, and you have to have something that is also aerodynamic. We call it a mast that sticks up out of the water and supports your craft above the water.
Excellent. I want to take it back a little bit, and I want to understand where you came from, right? Your background isn't necessarily into manufacturing sports good, but can you tell me what your background in engineering is?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm a mechanical engineer, and I've basically worked in the factory automation business for most of my career. I was in aerospace in the very early parts of it, but then since then I've been basically designing manufacturing equipment. Our company has focused. My company has focused on building industrial automation specifically for like robotically assembling with adhesives. We kind of formed a niche around assembling with film adhesives. There's lots and lots of products that we've been a part of assembling that have touched everybody in the world. Um, you know, for a very long time, we were basically assembling every single mobile phone that was being assembled outside of China. So all of the Nokias and Ericssons and Sonys and all of these, mobile phones back during that period of time, our equipment was used to assemble them, basically assemble parts in them, and also like every hard drive, our machines are used to assemble. Lots and lots of medical devices and things like that. So we've been focused on building, robotic automation for a very long time.
Excellent. And what did you feel like you wanted to transition into this more exciting manufacturing of fun products like the jet ski, for example?
Yeah, great question. Spending a long time in factory automation, you get a certain type of customer. I love, working with customers, and the customer base for the industrial automation, especially here in America, has changed a lot. And I always really enjoyed, all of our European customers because let's say they changed less, but here in America, a lot of customers just it was hard to get an appreciation and develop the kind of relationship that I really wanted to. Um, uh, just an example, we Research in Motion, the company building the BlackBerry, was a customer of ours, and I was in a meeting, and these guys just said, "Well, that's our vendor's responsibility. They've got to do this, and they've got to do this by this date." And I'm like, "Well, I know quite a bit about what you're trying to do. I've been doing it for a number of years, and I don't think your vendor is going to be successful with it." And they said, "Well, that's their problem." And that's the kind of attitude that has like overtaken, and that's already a while ago, and that's kind of proliferated. So, and they failed, obviously. And, it just made me for a number of years really want to develop a consumer product and be working with, consumers instead of an industrial customer that just wanted everything done for them, basically.
That's interesting. I just heard an interview from Oasis, the guy, the Liam Gallagher from Oasis, and he says the the consumer never wanted Jimi Hendrix. The consumer um, never wanted the Doors. These big bands. Um, the consumer sometimes doesn't know what it wants. You need to bring it out to them and explore the things that are outside of your comfort zone, and this is what's happening here, right? You're taking something that inspired you and you're building something completely new. There's a lot of products that are being done right now that turn into electrical.
Yep.
Um, so it's like an electrical revolution. Can you tell me a little bit of what's behind the engine and inside the Pelagion jet ski?
So the HydroBlade, we call it. Yeah, I mean, it's a great point that you're making, and there's tons of electrification happening, and in most cases, I view it as very, very positive. There's a lot of pushback these days about the political part of it, of the environmental aspect of things, but I mean, I don't think anybody can argue that having no emissions like an electrical device has is bad, right? People will argue that the batteries take mining to create and stuff like that, and I don't really want to get into all of that, but when you're riding something electric, whether it's a car, motorcycle, scooter, or whatever, it's not actually producing any emissions when you're riding it. And it also, like we really didn't do it so much from that perspective. To do something foiling, it would be very inconvenient to do it with an internal combustion engine, because you really have to get the power down deep underwater, so that the thing can come out on that foil. And, it would take, and, of course it has to be very streamlined under there, or you're going to use a lot more energy. So with electric, you can basically produce motors that are very, very powerful and can be very, very streamlined. And, we actually developed our own motor for the HydroBlade. Something a lot of people don't do. They just, go buy off-the-shelf motors. But in our case, the level of performance that we wanted required us to produce our own motor. Our motor is an outer rotating motor. Basically, the outside of it rotates, not the inside. It helps us out basically with getting extra torque, and but yet keeping the overall size of the motor very, very small in diameter, so that it could be very, very streamlined.
Amazing. And how did you, what were the first prototypes like? Did you know that you intentionally wanted to make electric hydrofoil, or was it something that started evolving in your experiments or your trials?
I basically I really wanted to just electrify my jet ski initially, and I took everything out of it, and you should see the pile of stuff that comes out of this thing, between the engine, the fuel tank, the exhaust system, the all of the hoses, all of the brackets and hose clamps, and all of the wires, the ignition box, the ignition system. And I took all of this stuff out of my jet ski, just to basically figure out how much room there was in there, to see how much battery could I get into this thing. And I worked numbers and scratched my head over and over. And honestly, I figured that I could get 15 minutes of real life runtime. And that's not what I was trying to do. So then, the idea, after, looking at e-foils and then writing some e-foils, the idea came to me to, why don't I do something that I can, something from scratch that I can stand up on and foil and control and ride like a stand-up jet ski. And so that's really where it started. And so the first prototypes were already had that in mind. It didn't evolve much. It evolved to get it working better, let's say. But the very first prototype, the idea was to make it fly.
That's awesome. Have you tried foiling before? Just plain foiling?
Yeah. Well, at least e-foiling. So I'm not really so I've done some windsurfing in the past, but I didn't really have any friends that had that stuff, and I wasn't going to go and really start that process. I see a lot of people out, wing foiling these days, and that looks really fun, and I'd like to try it. But I did really in my research or whatever, I really focused on the experience of an e-foil because I was going to do something powered, and doing something powered by the wind or powered by waves or whatever is very similar. A lot of the dynamics is very similar, but since I was focused on something powered, I really just focused on e-foils.
Well, that's a good thing about being an engineer, right? That you get to design your own toys.
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
And having a big manufacturing company that can make all this stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's awesome when you start blending passion and your abilities together, and that's when really fun, interesting products come out of. So, what do you think are the challenges of building a brand from scratch?
Yeah, so I'm an engineer. That's challenge number one, right? So I've got to have a good team around me that can do that marketing side of things. Like I think, well, let's give them some technical details, and my team is like, nobody wants the technical details. So, for me, that's a big challenge is just keeping things experience oriented from a brand perspective, so that the audience focuses on the experience and not the nerdy stuff. I guess that's my challenge. But from an overall challenge as a company that we have is not marketing a consumer product and the doing the kind of things, and we've got some great ideas to get out there and get people on this thing in the world. That's what we're focused on right now.
Exactly. I think it was Elon Musk who said that engineers sometimes spend too much time optimizing something that shouldn't even exist. So, you may want more drag, you want more power, you want more battery life, but then you got to analyze context. Where are you physically? For example, I'm guessing Miami, this is where you guys are at, has certain conditions that could be that are going to shape what this product is. And then, but you want to maybe put it in other conditions. Have you tried testing it on bigger waves or choppier, more intense oceans or things like that?
Yeah, I mean, certainly, we have where we live, basically, we mostly have ocean. So we're certainly designing it to go out into the ocean, and we don't have much surf, but I'll tell you, it's windy here a lot, and it's 3 to 5 feet waves out there today. It's pretty windy, and typically the summer is when it's calmer for us. But we're gonna have it out in all kinds of conditions, and we want. It's not so much going to be designed for surfing because it's powered, right? But designed to be out in the ocean, designed to be on lakes, designed to be in flat water, designed to cut through chop. It's gonna do. It's gonna be able to take a wide variety of actual conditions, and keep in mind you're flying above the water, so to some degree, you're isolated from the surface of the water. But of course, we can only fly so high. Basically, we fly about that high out of the water generally, and so waves within that, you're just skating right over those waves. But I'll address something that is a key part of that. So there's other companies out there developing, boats and other, let's say, jet ski like things that fly over the water, but they're computer controlled. So the flight is completely controlled by computers. and they've got sensors, and they're controlling the pitch of the foils, using the sensors to sense off the surface of the water, and try and keep the thing flying. But that only works up to a certain in certain wave conditions, and you get a boat wake coming in, and the sensor's just not going to know what to do when it gets when the hull gets hit by a boat wake. Now it has to start correcting. It's not going to be a seamless experience. I wanted to make something that, like, you're a pilot flying it. This is not an F-35 out there that's basically the pilot's kind of telling it where it wants to go, but the computer's flying it. You're actually flying the HydroBlade. So you're on it, you're controlling it. We have something up front called the canard, and it's we put it a considerable distance. It's like on a folding arm, so it's a pretty considerable distance forward, so that it basically smooths out. If it was too close to you, it would react too quickly to the waves that are coming at you. But that canard with the boom puts it out at a considerable distance in front of you, and that basically smooths out what it has as far as an input goes to how the thing flies. So it's going to follow that surface of the water and fly you above the water, and you don't have to focus on how high you are above the water. If you go faster, you're going to go a little bit higher above the water. If you go slower, you're going to come down a little bit closer to the water. But you don't have to really think about that when you're flying the HydroBlade. But yet, it's not a computer flying the HydroBlade. The rider is flying the HydroBlade.
That's awesome. That's great. Is there have you seen maybe other capabilities that in the design wise where you could maybe create different models and they would do different things?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. We're going to have multiple models. We're like I said, we're in the process of getting a whole bunch of different riders, on the HydroBlade right now, and getting their feedback. We want to be able to give people, we want them to bring their experience and then experience the HydroBlade, and then tell us basically what they'd like to do with the HydroBlade, and funnel into product development. Now, the HydroBlade itself, I've brought my experience with riding a stand-up jet ski, and that's really what it feels like, only except for the flying aspect, which you're not doing on a stand-up jet ski. But we can definitely see a sit-down product in the future, even more of like a boat product in the future that operates on the same criteria that the HydroBlade is using to operate on.
Are there any other competitors or people that are doing something similar to this?
Well, I mentioned that there's other companies doing there's other electric, let's say, sit-down jet skis. I have not seen an electric stand-up jet ski. I think basically because everybody runs into the same problem, 15-minute runtime, right? But even like the electric true sit-down jet skis have an extremely short actual runtime. I have seen a foiling one as well, but again, you go back to the computer controlled. So, like, really, is it a jet ski if you're completely flying by a computer? It doesn't seem much like a jet ski anymore. It just seems like you're sitting on a boat, on a motorcycle seat.
Yeah, no, and I think people are looking for that thrill. You wouldn't buy it for let's say transportation, like getting from here to there as a necessity. Maybe you purchase something different, or you use something completely different. Can you describe to me what's your ideal customer like? What does he look like?
Somebody who loves adventure. We're trying to make this thing very accessible for people. We want a trailer hitch rack that will hold 2 HydroBlades. And so basically, with a class 3 trailer hitch rack, you wheel the HydroBlade up to the back of your car, and fold it, hook it to the rack and fold it up, strap it, and you drive this thing to a mountain lake in Utah, and where there's nobody, and you go out and go on your adventure. And I mean, you take it to the beach, take it to an inlet, and take it out into the islands. We want it to be very portable and accessible for people. And so the idea of the ideal customer, I think, is just somebody who loves an outdoor adventure.
I could see myself writing this thing. I want to get on it so bad.
We'd love to have you, Gustavo.
Awesome. So what does the next 5 years look like for Pelagion?
Building a lot of HydroBlades, hopefully. That's our plan is building. Obviously, there's a whole marketing side. We'd like to actually deploy RVs with young people that just want to travel, and an RV with 4 HydroBlades on it. Go take the whole summer and hit the road and hit every lake that you can find along the way. Promote it on social media. Say I'm going to be at Lake Travis on July 12th, and have a bunch of people come out and ride the HydroBlade. This is the kind of thing that we're thinking.
Is there a product launch date for this where consumers can start purchasing?
Good question. We're building our marketing program right now, and we will be launching a pre-sale soon. The actual production will be happening, and of course the prototypes. Even we've got a group of prototypes that we're building right now. All that happens here. We don't draw stuff up and send it off to Asia or whatever. Everything is happening here in South Florida in our facility. We've got a big facility here. So, we're ready to start producing HydroBlades. This group that we're building right now, we're calling our pre-production units, and we're going to be validating the performance of that pre-production unit, and then go straight into, building some very elaborate, expensive tooling to actually build, carbon fiber hulls. And there's lots of other parts. Other than that, there's PC boards, there's a lot of machine metal components, and a lot of different things. But we're planning on having the vast majority of the technology here, and we already do to a large degree because we build machines here.
Can you invite us? Is there a waiting list or somewhere where we can really be informed about the future releases? And
well, our website, yeah, absolutely. Our website, Pelagion.com. Pelagion.com, and you can sign up for our email list and get updates that way. I think that's the best place.
Beautiful. Can you let us how we can stay in touch with you guys and follow you on your social media?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have Instagram is Pelagion Electric. Our website, of course, is just Pelagion.com, Pelagion.com. And we're on TikTok, also Pelagion Electric. And I believe we're just Pelagion on YouTube.
Well, that's all the time that we have for today at the Brandventures. Thank you, Jaime, so much for coming on and sharing all about the HydroBlade.
Thank you, Gustavo. It was great talking to you.
So, hey, all right, guys. So this is what you got to do. You guys got to follow Pelagion on Instagram and follow their journey. They're starting out, and we want to support them. We want to see this thing in the water. We're very excited for it. And if you want to go follow the Brandventures for new, interesting interviews with entrepreneurs who are making a difference in today's market, please do so. And leave us a comment. I will see you guys next time. GP5, production for adventurous brands.